We need to take our schools back, and we need to go back to the schools, check these buildings, check the curriculum, and stay there. Don't just go one day and leave. This is how active we get. If you knew what was going on in these buildings, if you really knew what was going on in the Philadelphia public schools, you talk about 10,000 men marching, it would be 1 million people in Philadelphia marching, because it's a disgrace.
Let me get some reaction to what we've heard already. And again, the first brother who came up and said that, again, he takes to heart that he must stand up in his own household, and he takes to heart that he has to be the one that teaches his children. Who would like to respond to what we're hearing?
I'd like to jump in there. I think the greatest feeling that I've gotten since the loss of my son has been the young people that I've talked to, or the other families who I visit when they've lost a child. I mean, we never expect to bury our children. You know, society sort of suggests that they would bury us. But after I found out that I could no longer plan his future, I had to plan a funeral, I had to be clear that there was other responsibilities there for me. And I think that it is an obligation, and I go back to my opening comments. It goes back to faith. We need that foundation of faith back in our lives. We need that family togetherness, and we need that community relationship. But then it has to be resources that are made available to us as taxpayers to then look at the ways that we can support community-based organizations, how we can look at this issue of economic development in our neighborhoods and take these commercial corridors and make them vibrant again, how we can support the recreation centers in our neighborhoods, which dollars have been gutted out of them. They're empty buildings now. There's no safe haven for children. We need to look at the health issues, the drug addiction. It is education that has to be there. It has to be employment issues addressed. So it all has to come together.
You both lost loved ones to the streets. And as you sit on panels like this, and I know that you're both very active in your communities, do you get tired of all this talking? Or do you really feel that somehow something's being done for real?
I'll yield to my sister.
And be candid about it.
I think there's not enough being done, obviously, and I think the community needs to be more involved. I resent the fact that people are dying always because of drugs. You know, there are many reasons that we're losing our loved ones to violence. My son wasn't involved in drugs. He didn't deal drugs. Neither was Sutan's son. You know, it's not always about drugs. We're losing children today because of conflict. You know, someone's picking up a gun, a 16-year-old's picking up a gun and killing someone because of a girlfriend, or because of the way someone looked at someone. So it's not always about drugs and the African-American community, and I kind of resent that. We have to look at many different aspects of what is happening in our community with this violence. And it's many things. It's not just violence, it's not just lack of jobs, it's lack of education, it's mental health services that are needed for families, because there's truly a breakdown in our African-American family because of many different reasons. 75% of the households are headed by females. There's no man in the household. You know, so why are mothers in charge? Because men are not around.
Let me say this, and I do want to get back because I'm very interested in hearing from the community, but I got to get some response to this. I had a conversation with Dr. Bill Cosby just recently, and I said to Dr. Cosby, there are those who say that panels like this are good, but it's exactly what you just said, Sultan. It's the ones who are out there doing these crimes and the ones who are on these corners that we really need to have in here. And he says, man, let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to go to someone on a corner that just killed somebody and say, man, we're having a meeting, I'm wondering if you'll come sit in on it? He said the answer is going to be no. So how do we get them in if they won't come?
We have to provide them with the help. But my issue often is when we have a panel like this is that we can go away depressed ourselves listening to the statistics. Because all of us are individual. We can't solve the whole problem. But holistically, we have to address it. And if each of us, just in our own little way, can do something. Coach a basketball team. Go help someone learn at the school, learn the reading program, the computer program, help the New Juice Foundation, join a town watch, go out with Men United and address the young men where they are and try to help them. If we do our own little part for a couple hours a day, a week, whatever, then together as a community we can solve the problem. But all too often we just come walking away like, wow, it's a big problem. I can't deal with it. I'm going to take care of my own.
We've got to stay strong. We've got to stay strong. Yes.
I came from New Jersey and I brought my nephew.
Bring them up with you. Let them stand with you as you speak. We want to see them too. Let them come and just surround you and stand with you.
This is the X factor. This is the X factor right here, because we postulate and we theorize that we know what they're going through, and we know what they have to contribute or lack thereof. They're the answers to their problems. How can we reasonably expect them to raise themselves when the road to hell may often be paved with good intentions? They go wrong with the confidence that what they're doing is right because they don't know no better. And we don't give them a chance to express their views.
Well, keep taking care of the X factor that you brought with you, and thank you for coming up.
Art, I'm here with Representative W. Curtis Thomas, who has a perspective and a question for our panelists.
Thank you. Let me first thank you for this opportunity. I think some excellent things have been said, and I think if we had to go away with something, it is clear that a multidimensional approach is needed. Right. We not only need to look at getting the guns off the street, and if the old folks used to say, be careful what you ask for, gun bills are now coming forward, as Representative Jewel Williams will tell you, but it's attached onto other things, like we saw a bill last week, where second-degree felony for $50 retail theft, for retail theft. So bills are coming, but they're being tacked onto a number of other things. We need to deal with strengthening the families. That is my philosophy. I think that you take your resources and use those resources to strengthen that family, then what comes out of that house is going to respond to the community much differently.
I also think that we don't need to be in an either-or situation. We got to work on these all at the same time.
Holistic.
But the point is, but also I agree with the family. I mean, that's why I said the family plus education. We are living now in an environment where, and these are national statistics, 70% of all black households in America now doesn't have a mother and father in that household. 30% does. We talk about solutions. Everybody tonight should be leaving here, grabbing some young folks, talking to some young folks. We can't be afraid of our own kids. And Sutan's kid is my kid. Bruce's kid is my kid. We're starting tonight and every single day.
For those of you who are up here and can see this young boy, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about trying to save him and all the others just like him that still have their future ahead of them, still have their whole lives ahead of them, and yet we're seeing our youth being cut down. We're losing our youth to the streets, and so that personifies why we're here right there. I think everyone here understands the problem before us. I think we all are here because we care. We're here because we have ideas that might possibly help. We're all here because we have a stake in the outcome. We've heard a lot of very interesting comments. We've heard a lot of solution-driven conversations here. What we must do now, each and every one of us, is go back where we came from. Take this back with us. Don't leave this conversation here as we've heard. This is a very complex issue. We know that. This is a very tough challenge. We know that. What we've got to do is each and every one of us lock arms together, work together towards these solutions, because as it has been said over and over again, if we are to break this cycle of violence, if we are to untangle ourselves from this systemic epidemic that's killing us, it starts with each and every one of us first. There's one other thing that we didn't get to say, and it was mentioned, but not often enough. Sure, it's about the family, it's about the education, but it's always going to be about God. We've got to keep God in the mix. Thank you very much for being a part of this discussion. For those of you who are here and seated on this panel, for those of you in the audience, for those of you who are watching from the comfort and the confines of your home, you too feel the connection to why we're here and do your part where you are. We thank you for being a part of this program. I'm Art Fennell. Good night.